Dave. Dave. I call him Incel Dave in my recap of this season because it's very clear that he's got incel ideologies and just does not like or respect women at all. So he's been doing interviews with People magazine where he talks about his relationship with Lauren. And spoiler alert, by the way, if you guys do not know where this ends up yet, even though the episodes came out on Friday, maybe put this on mute for the time being. This story should take about 5 minutes, okay? So maybe fix yourself up a little coffee, glass of water, something. So spoiler alert, we're going to find out the fate of this couple. So in the last set of episodes, we saw that they just could not get past the fact that Lauren had a friend with benefits going into the show. She was boinking with this friend up until like 4, 5, 6, 7 days before going on and trying to find a husband, right? And so David is not cool with it. And this is what he said to People, and I quote, "I think the whole situation of her having a boyfriend going into it and me having to experience and try to not play two different roles, but I was trying to be the best to everybody and trying to figure this out. This coming from not only my sister, who knows this guy's best friend, but also my really close college friends that know him. And were all telling me that they've been dating for 3 months and she was staying at his place the week before she left. I'm hearing all these things and I'm just like, there's just no way I'm going to marry this person if that's what she was doing coming into it. I just can't justify that." But having to explain that to, I know my sister's a big part of it, but the reason she's such a big part of that is because she knows the guy that Lauren had been seeing, and she was just there like, there's absolutely no way. And I got to the point where I was like, I'm not going to force my best friends and family members to come watch me say no at the altar when I knew that was going to be my answer based on the information I had at that time. Listen, I do respect his position. I said this in a prior video. I personally would have probably taken the same stance on someone. I would have thought that the person was not serious if they were, dropping it like it's hot a mere days before coming on and committing to marriage. I do not like when people, men that are trying to date me or pursue me do not have actual discipline. I don't like, guys who are trying to sleep with you on the first night, this or that. To me, that gives that kind of energy where you can't even like keep it in your pants for a month or two and like prepare yourself mentally, emotionally, all that stuff. Just keep yourself zen for a month or 2 or 3 or whatever, knowing that you were attempting to get married. I don't like that, so I think that Dave has a right to feel that way. But he knew that from the beginning. Yet, do you guys remember when they went away on the honeymoon and stuff? He was trying to sleep with her. Then he started complaining to everyone and asking everybody if they're hooking up because he and Lauren aren't hooking up. I feel like, I don't know. It feels to me, and we see this a lot. We even saw it with Ramses, who knew he wanted to say no to Marissa at the altar, but he kept on trying to sleep with her as much as possible to the point where she's like, dude, what's going on? I work, I study, I'm trying to pass the bar, and you're trying to bone me 5 times a day, and the guy, he knew he didn't want to marry her. So you get a lot of these types of guys in the show, and I really don't like that. And I think that they need to take a closer look at the types of guys that they let on, because a lot of them are obvious from the very beginning, right? And East Awesome, exactly. From the very beginning, he talked about cheating on women, treating women poorly. He's telling women they're no longer attractive because they're in their 30s. He's telling them they got to hurry up, settle for him if they, want to have a kid. Time is running out type nonsense, like, come on, right? That's really sweet, by the way, Ronnie. I love that. That's so sweet. How many of the men have done this? So many. I think that too many to count have done this, you guys. And I really, really, and so I really applaud the women who kind of hold out a little bit more, because you don't know the intention of the men on the show. A lot of the women who come on to the show, they are purposely seeking it out. And then the men, they're being scouted for the show. So to me, that's another thing that I don't get about Lauren, right? Like, Lauren, you knew you wanted to get married. So what are you doing running around town, especially when you come from a small town where everybody knows each other, right? What are you doing running around town with a random man up until a couple of days before you're supposed to be getting married? That is not serious behavior, in my opinion. Gwen says, dude sounds super fragile. How many of the guys do exactly that before the show and don't own up to it, right? And that's because the guys are not serious. So to me, a lot of the guys do that because they're not serious. And we see that all the time, that they're not serious. So to me, that's more proof that Lauren was not serious, right? And I don't think that Dave was serious either. I don't think he likes women, right? I think he's just, ugh, and I can't stand him. I don't know where they picked him up from, why they must have been desperate. I think the producers did say that the show kind of cast itself. They didn't have that much that many people signing up to do it. So I think that's why they settled for him. By the way, you guys, I'm seeing I starred your comments, Triple V and me, and Suis Bonjour, because I'm going to go back to the tattoo thing just to see what you guys have to say too. Farrah says, he was there for the fame. Watching Dave and Lauren was so triggering. It was borderline verbal and mental abuse. He wanted her to end it so he can get a good edit. I felt so bad for her. I agree. Thank you, Farrah. I think that's what it comes down to. And a lot of relationships, heterosexual relationships with men are like this, where they will push you to your breaking point. They will just treat you poorly, worse and worse. Until you finally pull the plug. And that's why we as women have to be on the lookout for that sort of behavior. These are grown men. They know what they're doing. They know they're mistreating you. They know they can treat you better. They would not treat somebody that they actually want to be with that way. And so you, as a person, even if you really love the person and you really want to make it work, you have to put an end to it, because they will only drag you for as long as you allow them to drag you. Like this guy, you could tell he just kept on looking at her like, dude, like what, like I'm treating you like garbage. What are you still doing here? Right. And it's really, 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 really sad to see. It really, really is. Jaleesa doesn't think it's a big deal. Listen, at the end of the day, everybody has their own different like standards and what they like, don't like, or whatever. So I don't think it's a problem that you don't see it as a big deal at all. I think that maybe there are other things that you consider to be a big deal that maybe I wouldn't consider to be a big deal, and vice versa. So don't worry about it at all. We all have different perspectives about it and stuff. Gwen says, you literally couldn't pay me enough to go on that show. Effing yikes. Exactly. Honestly, like I feel bad for the girls, because a lot of them do go on trying to find something real, but I think a lot of the guys are just there to get to get laid, because a lot of ladies are no longer engaging in casual X with these guys, right? And so they're like, listen, I get some TV time, some followers, I get laid, why not? But Jaleesa, it was said that she was doing it like she knew she was cast. But here's my thing, you're cast and you're trying hard, like shouldn't you be concentrating on that? I don't know. Maybe I'm being too much. I don't know. Because to me, it's like, okay, if she was doing this, like, and she had put in her application and forgot about it, whatever. But you're in the midst of packing, right? Trying to find your husband and stuff. Like, get into that mindset. I don't know. I just find it weird. I do. But listen, like I said, different strokes for different folks. Petty says reality shows are not nearly as good as they were before social media. And I can agree with that because, especially like when it comes to like, what I miss? Oh, thank you for that, Petty LaBelle. You know what you just made me think of? The Real World. That used to be my show. And so like the fact that kind of like went away when social media did, like they were smart to bow out then. That show was just so damn good. And to me, that's like an epitome of a reality show that was incredible. A Flavor of Love. I used to love Take a Shot at Love with Tila Tequila. I used to love the one with Bret Michaels. Like I used to watch the trashiest of trashiest reality shows, you guys. I still do. Ramsey says, I don't remember who said it, but people don't break up anymore. One just acts like a jerk. And this is why, ladies, please have high self-esteem, because men will just continue to push you until you finally end it. And so unfortunately, you see this all the time. Lauren was a good example of it. Just accepting. The guy was practically calling her a hoe every single episode. And she's still there trying to bend over backwards, have everybody meet him, try to make it work out and stuff. Girl, he doesn't like you. How many times, how many ways does he have to tell you and show you he doesn't like you? He called you annoying to your mom's face. He said you're not cute to your mom's face. And you're still there like, I can't wait to marry that man. He said you're no longer attractive because you're 31 on your first date, or you're 32. He said you're no longer attractive and you're still here trying to marry. Please, self-esteem. We need self-esteem, because that's not like, come on now, I don't think men like Dave should be getting any play. If women had higher self-esteem, men like Dave would be alone for life the way they deserve. I cannot stand that guy. That is one of the worst guys to come on the show. I'm still pissed that he ever even got cast. Like, screw Dave. East Austin says Lauren didn't deserve to be outed like that. Yeah, she probably just enjoyed the ex, but didn't like the guy's character. I agree. I felt bad for her. I really did. She seemed like such a sweet girl. So I hope she finds better. I want to see her at the reunion looking better than ever, telling us that she found this, like, either she found like the best therapist ever to work on her self-esteem, or she found the hottest, richest man in town. I want to see her stunt on Dave so bad. Okay, so it looks like y'all are really into like the same shows as I am. Whoop whoop! Shout out to my fellow like trash TV people. Yup, I love it. Yes, shout out to us. Oh God, how I miss that era of reality TV. Now, you guys, why don't we get into Gypsy Rose? Listen, it's a different vibe, but it's still a good vibe. Well, she's not good vibes, but the show is fun and I like it. I recapped all of season 1 and I'm going to be recapping all of season 2. It's about to drop actually really soon. Just before we get into that, hey, Katie, nice to see you. Thank you for becoming a channel member. We're going to continue reading Caitlin and Tyler's book. I'm going to do another chapter for you guys today. So be on the lookout for that. Thank y'all so much to my channel members. You see Ali talking about Bad Girls Club. Listen, I tried to get into that, but when I was about to watch it, you know what happened? One of my friends from high school, rest his soul, we had just finished high school. We were a year out. He went to study up north. He was either Yukon or Nunavut. I think he was in Nunavut. And he got into a fight at a party. And one of the people and it's really graphic, so sorry in advance, you guys, but one of and so that's why I couldn't finish watching Bad Girls Club. I never watched it again. It's just kind of triggering. It reminds me of this all the time, how this person got into a fight at a house party, and it was a guy, but just like scruff. What happened? The person he was fighting was so vicious. And this person that I went to school with was like 6'2". The person picked him up, beat him over a piano, and killed him with his bare hands. So ever since, just watching people like fight like that has been just, wow, like you really can, like you can end people's lives like this. So anyway, sorry guys, I brought down the vibes. Sorry guys, rest his soul, rest in peace. But yeah, that really turned me off to Bad Girls Club. It just made me so sad.